Took a little while tonight, but they drew Texas in the 4-13 matchup, and they'll play in Austin, Texas on Saturday in the first round of the NCAA tournament. It was all about redemption for Farmville Central boys, and redemption was earned. Second time this season, there's been a brawl at Washington County's basketball games where the Panthers players were not involved. It's a shame because the boys are now 18-1. Terribly sad tonight. Pirate Nation Jeff Charles passed away in New Orleans ahead of the Pirates game, which was scheduled to be played against Tulane, as they get together to remember and honor the great Jeff Charles, the voice of the Pirates. ECU women's basketball beat Houston Thursday 46-44 in the American Athletic Conference title game. They returned home to Greenville to a warm welcome on campus. State basketball playoffs reached the regional finals on Saturday. Bertie boys, quite a story, and they've made it. Dancing shoes on this year. It's been years in the making for the Division III program from Rocky Mount. A solid senior class is excited for the chance to dance. The Pirates are set to play George Washington the next 2 days, and we asked Coach Godwin about his Game 2 and Game 3 starters. NASCAR is coming to Onslow County. The newly named New River All-American Speedway made the announcement this morning. Conference titles were decided last night at a few schools around the area. Rivalry games played, and one in Greenville between Trinity Christian and Christ Covenant came right down to the final horn. ECU long snapper Trip Smith shared he was cancer-free last week after battling Hodgkin's lymphoma since last summer. We spoke with Trip to hear about a big step in his life and his football career with the Pirates.
It was like 1,000 pounds just lifted off my chest, you know? It was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to wake up in the morning anymore and worry about it.
Trip Smith went through full-body tests, treatment medicine to prevent damage from chemo, hours of chemotherapy treatments every other week, and he says his Pirate coaches and teammates have been supporting him the whole way.
You know, they've never stopped like texting me, like Coach Dallas, the special teams coordinator. He always checked up on me. He'd always call me. We text all the time. And same with Coach Houston. You know, they always kept in touch. My teammates, they've always kept in touch. I always receive messages like from them asking how I'm doing.
Trip has been doing everything he can to stay active.
Ever since treatment ended, I'll go to the gym and just, you know, do as much as I can, go back home, rest, go back the next day. Like over the last month, I've built up an endurance to be able to, you know, go out and do a full, pretty rigorous workout and do some cardio and be able to run as well.
Smith's doctors and ECU coaches are on board with his plan to return to Pirates football this summer.
As everything goes according to plan, I'm expected to return back on campus the first session of summer, which I believe starts in like May, around that time. And then I'm full go, ready to go and, you know, put pads on since I was told I couldn't put them on, build back up, you know, to where I was last year. When fall rolls around, we'll see what happens.
Grayson Barsanti is a freshman varsity girls basketball player for Christ Covenant. The Spartans have players averaging double-digit points and double-digit rebounds, but Grayson's play is something most would not be able to do, and we feature her in this week's Pepsi Sports Spotlight.
Normally, it's not harder than what other people do, just because I've been around it most of my life. I was born without my leg.
Christ Covenant's Grayson Barsanti is a basketball player. It started at school at a young age, and her love grew on the court with her family.
My brother told me that I should play, and he just always went outside with me, and he would hang out with me.
But learning to play ball with a prosthetic leg took time.
The leg that I have now is like an adult leg, but whenever I first started, it was like for younger kids, and it just, whenever I would run, it had a hard time like keeping up, and it would lock, and I would fall down a lot more than other people, and that would be very hard, but I adapted to it.
Grayson, with the help of her doctor, has learned how to make it work for her.
She is a shooter, but it takes her a little bit of time to get her shot off, but if she's open, she can knock it down.
She made the Spartans varsity team this year as a freshman.
Grayson is a very passionate basketball player. She's worked really hard this year in practice, and she's improved a lot.
I really do like this group. They're very supportive and encouraging, and learning a lot more here. It has really great coaching and just really great teammates up here.
There are a number of health issues Barsanti has to be aware of with her leg to play the game. But the reason she loves basketball and this team so much is she gets to be a Spartan.
I like being treated equally like everyone else. Like, that makes me feel really good.
If she bumps into somebody, they call a foul on her. If she shuffles her feet, they call a travel on her. When she makes a basket, everybody cheers for her just like they do everybody else.
This young teenager plans to keep hooping and will no doubt keep inspiring all who watch for years to come.
I want them to realize that everyone, no matter like how hard their disability is, they can do anything that anyone else can. People with disabilities are equal to people who don't. And even though it's harder for people, they can still overcome that very easily as long as they keep on trying to do that.
The Washington High softball program started in 1977, but it dawned on the program at the end of last season's trip to the state finals for the first time in program history. That's quite a long time since it began. A few members of the original PAMPAC team and their coach were honored at the softball opener for this season with a special moment planned tonight.
The sports, whether it's softball or some other sports, really important. And for young women, it's just taken so much time and effort to get them to where they are now.
The PAMPAC softball field and program have grown by leaps and bounds since the first season decades ago.
It's awesome to see the improvements. You know, we were at the old high school when we played, and we were talking about earlier the field. We used Miss Fertilla's car to drag the field before games and practices and everything. We lined the field and everything.
The first PAMPAC team is relieved that now is nothing like it used to be.
That's the way it was. The boys got all the support, and you know, the girls were the second-class citizens, and it's thankfully not that way anymore.
We didn't have those opportunities, and softball, you know, we thought that was just awesome. We get to go out there and play softball. We didn't care that we had to go out there and, you know, drag the field and do all those things ourselves. We were happy to do it just to have that opportunity.
A special honor where Washington surprised Coach Pertiller and star Terry Andrews, who will be recognized with their names on the team awards for the PAMPAC at the end of each season going forward.
Sports has such a great impact on young people. It's healthy, it helps mentally, physically. They're rewarded in many ways now.
A great start to what should be
To get to see our coach, that's the best part.
a great softball season in Washington.
You can't stop. You have to keep pushing forward.
Gym suffered roof damage in the storms this week. Jalen Holloway and Merritt Morgan have stories about that on our website, but we caught up with the now road warrior Blue Devils to talk about their next steps with no home floor to play on.
It normally don't happen. Just kind of a pop-up storm, and I don't know, took the roof off the gym.
Definitely out of the blue. I mean, we were just in there in the gym shooting around, and all of a sudden we heard this really strong wind, and we looked and saw the top of the roof fall off of through the window. But we got out of the gym in time and went to the locker room before anybody could get hurt or anything.
The loss of their home floor moved Friday night's games with Kinston from Deep Run over to Kinston High.
Can't play at home for a while until they get the roof fixed.
Yeah, it's definitely up in the air. We did hear some kind of good news today. We're not 100% sure, but I think they're going to put a temporary thing on top of the roof now, so we should be able to play our games after this week at home. Hopefully. With us being seniors, it's kind of sad, not be having our home gym, so we're really hoping that gets worked out where we can at least have senior night or something at home.
And it's always tougher to win on the road.
Home games, you definitely have an advantage because you bring more of a, more crowd. You have more people on your side, so it's definitely a lot easier at home.
Hopefully, the situation we're in, they'll just travel with us.
Thankfully, they have access to other basketball courts for practice.
Week by week, we go to elementary schools to practice sometimes, so we'll probably be able to practice in the gym some, just whenever they tell us we're allowed to. But if not, we'll go to Pink Hill Elementary, Moss Elementary.
Just have to bus to some of the elementary schools. You got to be out, 5 o'clock, but hey, I mean, that's the situation we're in, so that's what we're going to do.
It's a tough challenge in the middle of the season for the Blue Devils.
It was unexpected, but it is what it is. Keep getting better at practice, and we'll go on the road now until we figure something out.